Did you hear the one about the officer who responded to the scene of a hate crime? There was nothing funny about it.
In this sign, we shall conquer.
Hate crime is everybody's business.
Where does hate begin?
Where does hate begin?
Where does hate begin?
We feel hate is survival. In order to survive, you gotta hate.
Where does hate begin?
Eventually, we're gonna take over.
Where does hate begin? At what point does hate turn into a hate crime? And how do you, as a frontline officer, effectively assist the victims and apprehend the offenders? Sections 318 and 319 of the Criminal Code of Canada address hate crimes. Under Section 318, it is a criminal act to advocate or promote genocide, to call for, support, encourage, or argue for the killing of members of a group based on color, race, religion, ethnic origin, or sexual orientation. Section 319 deals with publicly stirring up or inciting hatred against an identifiable group based on color, race, religion, ethnic origin, or sexual orientation. It is illegal to communicate hatred in a public place by telephone, broadcast, or through other audio or visual means. No proceeding for an offense under these sections shall be instituted without the consent of the Attorney General.
We have to ensure that police understand that as bad as a bank robbery is, so is a hate crime. While they may not see the bruises on the body, the bruises on the soul.
Hate crimes occur every day in Canada, in all levels of society. They range from mischief to murder. Crimes take place on the streets, at community events, at schools, homes, places of worship. For a hate monger, no place is sacred.
I went to the library, our public library, recently, and found among the books some cards from a white racist organization decrying blacks and Jews in very derogatory words. Now, this information was put there secretly, but it was available to anyone who was coming into the library for a book. That affected me, scared me, to know that places that we consider safe havens are places where people of hate carry out their business. And it's there for everyone to be affected by it.
With a hate crime, you are assaulting literally an entire community. It is an attempt to instill fear into an entire community. It is an attempt to intimidate an entire community.
The impact of hate crimes can reach far beyond an individual victim. Emotional trauma can seep into a broader community. All members of community or group can feel isolation and the vulnerability of a victim. If hate crimes go unreported, stress and tension can cause disruption and distrust in our communities. This type of atmosphere would only further the goals of those in our society who would promote hatred and intolerance. This effect is known as disproportionate harm.
It begs the question, who would do such a thing? Who are you dealing with when you're considering the perpetrators of hate crimes?
The victim is usually singled out, or the organization is singled out, usually by a person who's more afraid of the victim than the victim is of the person. Most people that commit hate crimes are actually in fear of people who are different. They're in fear of people who have different ideas. They're in fear of change. They quite often blame their position in life on the victim. They think that the victim caused them not to get a job, that the victim caused them not to get a position in a school, to not get a house, it could be anything.
Poverty, homelessness, political unrest, domestic violence, global violence. We live in a culture of fear. And I think people are so afraid that what little they perceive that they have in a culture of abundance is going to be ripped away from them at the very first opportunity. And I think that's where a lot of the hate comes from. People are looking at each other on the street, not recognizing what they have in common, but seeing what the differences are, and assuming that those differences are something to be frightened of.
But I will say that my environment had everything to do with me becoming a hardcore racist. So there was all these, I guess, seeds that were planted. So that is the best way to describe it. And there was always that fear of minorities that was ingrained, you know, into me.
Fear, anger, primal human emotions. It's no great surprise that anger is often the response to fear. Offense is the best defense, that sort of thing. But when it comes to a hate crime, there's more than meets the eye.
People are motivated to commit hate crimes, usually because they don't feel good about themselves or because they want to show that they can be powerful.
The perfect true believer, the people who become true believers, the ones who become fully indoctrinated, are the ones who, for one reason or another, they have something missing. You know, it could be anything.
Take one lost, angry individual, offer a place to belong, provide an opportunity to gain self-esteem, honor, success with increased status. Sounds like an upwards move, doesn't it? But it's not. It's the distorted approach hate-mongers use to recruit new members, people looking to belong, to act without conscience for the sake of acceptance.
Because those who are impressionable, whether they be young kids or grown men, you know, or children, I should say, in men's bodies, who don't have an identity, it's very dangerous because they will be used. And there are a lot of people who are seeking acceptance.
And this is one of the many ways that they reach the young people to increase their membership, making them feel at home, finding what they're lacking in their lives, finding what their interests are, and providing them with what they are lacking, and answering their interests through communication.
As a frontline officer, today's ever-evolving communication technology is your greatest challenge and your greatest asset when it comes to hate crimes.
Nowadays, left-wing, right-wing, terrorist groups, eco-terrorists, have found a home on the internet. These groups are making use of the internet for various reasons. A, recruitment. B, promotion of their activities. They're using it for communication. They're using it to educate. They're using it to entice young people through games.
Not only has the internet changed the face of recruitment, but circulating information of any kind has become easier, faster, faceless, and virtually untraceable.
We no longer have to go to the Red Barn in the middle of the woods to have a meeting. We no longer have to go to a pub downtown to have a meeting. We can hold that meeting in the privacy of our own homes, online, in a chat room.
What they're really promoting now is what's called leaderless resistance. They're actually telling people, don't join the group. If you believe in what we're trying to achieve here, go to this link and you can get the anarchist cookbook, or you can learn how to shoot or to make a bomb, how to deploy like a terrorist.
I worry more about the hate mongers who have taken off the skinhead and the observable trappings and traded it for a three-piece suit and getting business degrees and learning how to promote their hatred.
And there's no fingerprints back to the group. That is the scariest scenario of all. It's been played out more than once, and that makes the job for law enforcement much, much tougher.
Online, anyone can promote hatred, easily, freely, as part of a group or acting alone. Many groups in Canada are engaged in e-commerce, selling their personal brand of hate merchandise, generating an income to support their hate activities. Doc Martens with swastikas on the soles, music, books, t-shirts, anything that can be sold is being sold online. In this cyber realm, though, Canadian police officers have the law on their side.